CERN just opened a portal, y'all. And they're talking about this how they made contact with the Draco reptilians. And this has something to do with the three-eyed island.
What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. How you guys doing? You guys know what we like to do here, man. We break down scary and creepy videos that's gonna make us question everything. That's still we do best, seekers. Stay with me, y'all. Let's seek the truth.
Let me tell you a few things I learned today. The CIA at one time used the real Slim Shady to psychologically torture inmates at a secret U.S. prison. After 20 days of playing the song on repeat, one inmate described others as screaming and smashing their heads against walls. Shakespeare's grave bears a warning that anyone who moves his bones will be cursed. And I guess in 2016, a ground-penetrating radar scanned the grave and found evidence that the skull is missing, also indicating that the grave was disturbed at some point after Shakespeare's burial. So I thought reading this that the U.S. Department of Transportation valued a human life at $13.7 million in a statistical sense when evaluating potential safety standards, but after a fact check, they actually value human life at $9.6 million. Doctors at a Texas hospital in 2015 told this man that his son was brain dead and suggested that they remove him off life support. Then he pulled out a weapon and demanded that they keep trying to bring him back. Police surrounded the hospital in a lockdown for more than 3 hours until his son ended up squeezing his hand, which he then immediately surrendered and was later sentenced to 11 months in prison. And the crazy thing is, apparently his son completely recovered.
This man claims he's a literal angel from heaven.
Check this out, y'all.
What did you say? Well, what's your story? I'm not from here.
Says he's not from here.
Really? None of us are from here. Strangers in a strange land looking for that city not built by the hands of man, but by the hands of God. Mankind's hungry or lost. He's paid too high a cost. Humanity. Or Yeshua HaMashiach. Between two thieves, Jesus on the tree, dying for all humanity. If any man be in Christ, he's a new creature. All things have passed away from behold. All things become new. They call upon the name of the Lord.
Definitely doesn't talk like that.
Yeshua HaMashiach. Yadonai. Yahweh. Breathe in.
Is that Enochian angel language?
Let me hear it. Yahweh. You say Yahweh, your way, not our way.
Alright, for sure this man could be mentally insane. But what if he's not? Let me know what y'all think though. Do you think this guy's an actual angel from heaven? Stay weird.
I don't know.
You saw Lana Del Rey. Why do I ask? Because her fans are kind of confused and up in a frenzy. Not because of something she did or the way she looks, because of something she posted to social media. You don't know what I'm talking about? Take a look at this. This image of Lana Del Rey has the internet in a frenzy. Why? Because it's posted as her profile picture on TikTok. I've gone ahead and blurred it out because let's just say it doesn't leave much to the imagination. As you can see, her page has over 6.5 million followers. And there's the profile picture right there. The reason some are questioning the choice of photo is because if you go to her IG profile, that's the photo of Lana Del Rey that's used as a profile photo. But yet, for TikTok, this is the photo that's being used. So the question that everyone is asking, why a risque photo like that as your TikTok profile photo, but a headshot for your IG? So I guess my question to you is the buzz all over nothing? Or do you think that this photo is a little too risque, as some say? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and as always, I'd love to hear from you.
Here's
I
some
didn't
of the
even notice
weirdest
that.
things that have been found frozen in ice. Possibly one of the weirdest things found frozen in ice was a fully intact child's mummified corpse who was 13 to 15 years old, nicknamed the Frozen Maiden. This mummy was found alongside 2 other children mummies on the slope of a volcano 22,000 feet above sea level. The body was presumed to be over 500 years old, and yet they were still able to find lice in her hair. After some lab testing, scientists made a hypothesis that this person was probably suffering from a bacterial disease which led to her people sacrificing her to the Yoyayeto volcano, the same volcano that she was found on centuries later. Alongside their bodies were pots of food, silver and gold, religious statues, and a feathered hat, further confirming their hypothesis about a sacrificial ritual taking place to send their souls to live in peace with the gods.
There is no freaking
Wow.
way. Countries can now sue each other for climate change, according to a new bombshell ruling by the International Court of Justice. Bro, are they trying to start new wars? Now, under this new ruling, nations across the globe can be held legally responsible, not just for what they're doing today, but also for their emissions and pollutions for the past decades. The ICJ ruled the right to have a healthy and sustainable environment is equal to other human rights. It's not clear if the world's two biggest polluters, China and the USA, can even be touched, because conveniently, neither of them recognize the ICJ's jurisdiction, and it's their ruling. So the question is, are countries finally going to be held accountable, or will this ruling not be respected by the countries that make the biggest difference?
I think we all know the answer to that, bro. When they said countries could sue each other, I'm like, what? That's just asking for trouble. Especially like you're saying, climate change is us, the US, and China, 1 and 2. Nothing ain't gonna happen. You know they ain't touching them.
Media game is rigged. Listen to this shit. So I'm seeing video after video of people saying if you block Oracle, your algorithm will reset. Your TikTok will reset. And me not believing, I'm like, nah, that shit ain't gonna work. Because remember, it was like block Meta, block Facebook, block Mark Zuckerberg, shit like that. And I'm like, that shit won't work. Mind you, I go ahead and I block Oracle. First of all, let me start by saying this. On my research page, it was a lot of creators that I haven't seen in I don't know how long. My whole algorithm was twisted over there. I blocked Oracle and everything. When I say everything came back, I'm talking about everything. Now, and I heard somebody say when they blocked Oracle, their TikTok reset, logged them out their TikTok and everything. That didn't happen to me. But what I will say is, everything that I was seeing before that was missing came back. Mind you, I am now seeing videos from 2-3 months ago on my TikTok. And that's why I'm saying the fix is in. Whatever is going on, whatever Oracle may have to do with anything, and this is for entertainment purposes only, this shit is real. Block it and see. I'm out.
They
Just
gotta
block
be
it.
regulating you know what, because there's no way that there was a typhoon in Alaska that caused major flooding and houses to be floating down the water. This doesn't make any sense. This is the first time I've ever heard news about something like this happening in Alaska. Is that not weird to y'all? I get it. Yeah, we're in the last days. These things are going to happen in diverse places. There's going to be frequency and intensity in these things. 110%, I get it. But you can't tell me that some type of manipulation is not going on. I would say some organizations or some things that we probably already know, but we know TikTok is going to take it down because they like to censor everything. But is it truly a conspiracy at this point? Anyways, there has been one person that has been found dead, 2 people found injured, a lot of people lost their homes and things like that. Keep these people in your prayers because they need them. This is a community that does not experience this ever. And so this was one of those things that happened that caught them off guard. Yes, they were told a typhoon would come, but you don't know how to react to something you've never seen before or you've never been a part of before. The fact that houses were floating in the water shows that they don't experience things like this, shows that there has to be something else larger at play here. Seems to me like they might have lost control of you know what, and so now it's kind of just doing whatever it wants to do.
You know, the James Webb Telescope.
Weather manipulation, okay.
On potential life outside of our solar system.
Potential life?
Potential life. So NASA announced potential signature of extraterrestrial life in the atmosphere of a planet that is 120 light years away. So the James Webb Telescope, they can pick up on molecules in space. There's a certain molecule, dimethyl sulfide. That molecule is only produced by living organisms on Earth. And they picked up this molecule from a planet that's 120 light years away.
I mean, there could be just like animal life or creature life in other parts of space, right?
Yeah,
Like,
I saw this one thing where they think that these giant sea-like creatures are living under the ice in these oceans on these planets.
dude, that'd be wild.
That would be
See, that's
a barrier layer. Like we have our atmosphere that protects us. That layer of ice could be protecting something.
Like, what if God was just like, I want to see what this sea creature will do on this planet before I put it on Earth. So,
We're just testing.
It's like a test.
Little test facility.
Well, like,
Everyone is roasting the Ed Gein actor for his voice in the TV show, and this is what he had to say. Charlie Hunnam explains in an interview that there are no actual videos of Ed Gein speaking, which is kind of crazy if you ask me, because yes, he was born in the early 1900s, but he was alive until the mid-80s. There is one documented tape, but it was never actually released because Ed never actually went to trial for his crimes. He was considered insane, and they sent him off to the loony bin. Charlie also explains that Ed was never read his Miranda rights. As far as the tapes, they just threw them in a drawer and forgot about them. They were kind of lost in time. He had even tried to see if he could track them down in order to listen to them before starting the shoot, and he could not find them, and nobody in his team could find them either. We had Charlie looking for them, his team, Netflix, Ryan Murphy Productions, and they actually found one short little tape of Ed Gein talking. But they found this 3 days before the actual first shoot. I'm gonna play you a little clip of Charlie talking as Ed Gein in the show, and then I'm gonna play you a clip from the documentary that has the really, really short tape of Ed Gein speaking, and you can let me know what you think of his interpretation.
But we should have just, like I said, about 4 years that must have been taken from reading about news magazines and everything, taken up just like Ed
Follow for more horror and true crime.
Did you notice the difference?
A lot of people hated it, but I think it's because they didn't bag what it's about. What? It's one of those movies you have to think about it, and you have to be into that realm of ideas on what this kid is actually trying to tell you. It shows what could be happening right now with future athletes, with witchcraft, rituals they're using to put somebody new on. Yeah. So the whole story was there's this guy, and he is the next talent. He's the next big GOAT. Yeah. Before him, there was somebody else. Marlon, yeah. He played the character that was the GOAT. Yeah. The story was about Marlon retiring and giving the torch off to the new GOAT. In the movie, it's very like culty and very ritualistic. One of the things they did, Marlon was injecting his own blood into the new kid throughout the whole film. And the reason being that before him, he got the blood from someone else. And whoever got it from that was the original. Whoever got it from that was the original for that. So there he is, these legends and these goats, they share their destiny and pass it on to each other through blood rituals. Yeah.
The funniest...
Could you guys imagine that happening in the actual NFL, bro? That GOAT? So is that similar trying to say Tom Brady did that, I guess, to Patrick Mahomes, since, I guess he's the next GOAT after Tom Brady in the NFL? It's wild to think about.
Kid test answers. This kid was asked what he wanted to be when he grew up. And he drew a picture of his mom, but wait. It's not what you think it is. She actually works at Home Depot, and that's a shovel. Get your head out of the gutter. Cause. Tony practices the piano 20 minutes every day. Effect. He is a big nerd. No way you said that. No, wait. Bob has 36 candy bars. He eats 29. What does he have now? Diabetes. Bob has diabetes. Bro, where do these kids come up with these things, man? This kid was asked to write an example of a risk. And the kid wrote this and handed it in. No way he did that. This kid was asked to write 3 things you want to do in the future. And he wrote, number 1, get a girlfriend. Number 2, kiss her. And number 3, rule the world. If this ain't my kid, I don't want him because that's good.
CERN just opened a portal, y'all. And they're talking about this how they made contact with the Draco reptilians. And this has something to do with the 3-eyed atlas. This shit crazy, fool. Why would you open a portal? Look at this shit, y'all.
They use the collider to open up a portal to communicate with extraterrestrial beings from 3 atlas. To be clear, CERN already has the realm and the technology to open a portal to talk to extraterrestrials. Yes, obviously they communicate with the beings on 3
If y'all interested in watching the full video, I'ma leave the name down below in the comments. This is just part 1, y'all. This shit crazy, fool.
Have a sad update
Son
for a
doing?
dancing TikTok motorcycler who was in critical condition the other day. So this guy, Dancing Moto, was initially in the hospital after he had a really bad accident. This wasn't your normal motorcycle accident, as Moto Dancing was going 113 miles per hour in the rain and running from the Georgia State Police. And even more worse, Moto Dancing barely wears any gear besides his helmet. Even more worse, a lot of people are starting to feel bad for Moto Dancing, because in the video you can clearly see that the cop went way too far. And while I am I'm not excusing the police officer. However, after you see what Moto Dancing was charged with, he might be going to jail for the most longest time. And even more sadder, we just found out that Moto Dancing is only 19. He's just a kid, bro. And although I am wishing Moto Dancing a speedy recovery, there's still consequences to your actions. And just from this one situation, he has 8 different charges against him. And a lot of people are mad that he set up a GoFundMe after all of the naughty things that he did. And you want to know what's more cheaper than hospital bills? A speeding ticket. And as of now, Dancing Moto has already made over $7,000. Would you donate to Dancing Moto?
It's actually destroying you. Doom scrolling alters your ability to handle stress. Because it causes you to have a shorter and shorter attention span, you now have no focus. And you need focus to be able to manage and handle stress. Another thing is it ruins your memory. Can you even remember what you seen 30, 40 scrolls ago? No, you don't even remember. And even if you saved it, how many reels do you have saved up? How many TikToks do you have saved up? Hundreds? Thousands? And you ain't went back and looked at now one of them because your memory has been altered. If you be doom scrolling every day, can you even remember what you did 2 weeks ago? Can you even remember? Doom scrolling also makes you a tad bit slow. Part of being human, we have hundreds of billions of neurons in our brain. We're supposed to be constantly learning and discovering new shit every day. You're supposed to be increasing your intellect. You're supposed to be building skills. But what scrolling all day does, it atrophies your brain and it makes you a tad bit slow. It's literally destroying your gray matter in your brain. Because the brain is a muscle, just like any other muscle. It needs to be exercised. It needs to be used constantly. If you don't use it, you lose it. This is where the term brain rot comes from. And lastly, I'm not being dramatic, I'm being serious right now. Doom scrolling turns you into a junkie. How do you think you like this scrolling system so much? It gives you dopamine. Every new video, everything that makes you laugh, everything that makes you sad, it's a dopamine hit. And every video is only like 7 seconds to a minute long, so you constantly just getting quick hits of dopamine like a junkie. That's why you're addicted to scrolling.
No, these are the cryptocurrency.
Yeah. I personally don't doom scroll, bro. That's not for me, man, because like I said, it just shortens your attention span. But he really went in depth with it, bro. You was spitting.
I'm going to invest in for 2025. Let me share them with you. First up, I'm looking at Chainlink. It's a network that helps smart contracts get real-world data, like weather updates or stock prices. It's super important for decentralized finance apps, and I think it's going to grow a lot. Next is Polkadot. What makes Polkadot special is that it connects different blockchains, allowing them to work together. As more people start using different blockchains, Polkadot will be key in making sure they all communicate, so I see a lot of potential there. For number 3, I'm going with Solana. It's fast and cheap to use, low fees and high-speed transactions. I think it's going to be a major player, especially as the demand for fast, efficient transactions keeps growing. Coming in at number 2 is Ethereum. It's the leader in decentralized finance and NFTs, and with a big upgrade to Ethereum 2, one believes it'll keep getting stronger and stay at the top. And of course, number 1 on my list is Bitcoin. It's the OG of crypto, and it's trusted by so many people. As more companies and institutions start using it, Bitcoin will continue to grow in value.
Breaking news, y'all.
Okay.
And I don't know if you guys are hearing about this because they're not calling it what it is anymore, but the government of Nepal has collapsed, y'all. The whole country is on lockdown because they banned social media everywhere. It got so bad that the police had to spray down the people with water, y'all. It's crazy. Party action, jumping, you know, crisscrossing. It was everything, you know. Crisscross making jump, guess what, y'all? Even the Nepalese people in New York threw their own type of music festival. Although this one was a little bit more calmed down. See the guitar right there, y'all? Because, yeah, they're not going for this because they can't even get in contact with their people.
4 hours after protests against a social media ban in Nepal turned deadly, the government has reversed the restrictions. 19 people were killed and hundreds wounded when demonstrators clashed with police. State TV has reported police had been using tear gas, water cannons and rubber bullets, but also yesterday opened fire with live ammunition. It is said to have come when some of the thousands of young people gathered outlets. In all, upwards of 100 people were...
Apparently, this was supposed to be a peaceful music festival, but I guess some dancers got out of hand.
It's supposed to be a very peaceful protest, but it turned out to be the most ridiculous one in the history. I don't know what's happening. Guys, Nepal government, what are you doing?
The protesters then took it to the parliament building where the prime minister resides. and forced him to resign, y'all. And then they burned his private home down. This music festival is crazy, y'all. But y'all, did y'all know about this? I told you the Nepalese people are burning everything down. They are burning everything down, y'all. And there's a lot going on. Let me know down in the comments below, y'all. The shit is here. Let's continue to get it. Peace out.
Part 1. These are the Anthill Kids, founded by this man, Rock Therio, in Quebec, Canada. These events took place throughout the 70s and 80s. Using his excellent charismatic skills, he actually convinced a group of people to quit their jobs and follow him, promising unity and equality. He forbid them contact with their family and moved them out to the mountains. He called it Eternal Mountain. In 1978, he prepared for doomsday, having his followers build a town that could save them. He relaxed while they worked and compared them to ants on an anthill. To gain more followers and keep them devoted, he impregnated all female members. They were also forced to wear the same outfit, promoting equality.
What? Manipulators,
Creepy
man.
urban legends
Dangerous.
from each country, part 4.
Mexico, La Lorena. La Lorena is the ghost of a woman who drowned her own children in a river, only to be condemned in the afterlife to search for their bodies. As the story goes, great misfortune comes to those who go near her or hear her frightening cries.
La Lorena. Updating
It's
the
the
lore.
stupidest things bought by billionaires. Saudi Prince Waleed purchased a Mercedes completely made out of diamonds. It reportedly costs $48 million, and rumors have said that he charges people $1,000 to just touch it. Mukesh Ambani decided he wanted a personal skyscraper, so spent $2 billion constructing one. He has hired more than 600 people just to take care of the building's upkeep. Sheikh Ahmed wanted to make sure everyone knew this was his private island. That's why he decided to etch his name so large that it could be seen from space. Crazy things happen.
Man, when people have too much money like that, man, that's the definition of too much money. A freaking all diamond BMW. Does that thing even drive? Like, what's the point? And $1,000 just to touch it? Hell no. And have your own personal skyscraper. That's the one that freaking is the most, man, where he initiated and put his name's initials in the country and the island, bro. That's the definition of too much money, man. That's actually really wild to think about, man.
Happening in the world right now.
What would you do if you had that much money?
In Washington, D.C. this summer melted off the head of a wax replica of Abraham Lincoln. The state of Vermont paid this man $175,000 after arresting him for flipping off the state trooper. Ron DeSantis signed a bill making it legal to end the lives of crack bears in self-defense. DeSantis also signed a bill in Florida that makes it illegal to intentionally release balloons. NASA ran an experiment that even if we had 14 years in advance to stop an asteroid, we wouldn't be able to do it. A man wrongly identified his wife in an autopsy, had her cremated, and then found out that she was alive. A naked bike ride was organized in San Antonio and no one showed up. Justin Timberlake and Tiger Woods are opening a sports bar together. A French cyclist was fined after stopping to kiss his wife. A woman is suing the company that she's worked for 20 years for having no work. It was recently found that Americans are taking less vacation than every other country.
This is how healthy
Trying to
your
get that
eyes
bag.
actually are. I'm about to test you to tell you how healthy your eyes actually are.
Okay.
All you have to do is pick one out of the 10 colors that...
Damn it. The one that stood out to me was 7, man, because that was the bright color blue. I think I got some healthy eyes, though, Seekers.
Which animal is most likely to have you knocking on heaven's door depends on your state. And this is part 2, by the way, because I missed the last dates. Florida, you've got mosquitoes who want to send you straight to God. In Illinois, zombie coyotes are not going to let you finish your bucket list. In Wisconsin, you've got deer, and I also made up a little rhyme for you guys. Be always remember to stay the fact away from deer. If you see a deer, grab a beer because your end is almost near. Missouri, you've got the slithery serpents from hell, venomous snakes. Vermont, not a fucking clue. And I looked it up, even the CDC don't know what y'all chilling with over there. Next up, South Carolina. Apparently this is Satan's country home because all it says for this state is large mammals. Apparently you all got elk, coyotes, badgers, deer, porcupines, and bison all ready to test your life insurance. New York, you're up next. And man's best friend, now man's fatal foe isn't just a cool title for a movie. Finally, Tennessee, you've got brown recluse spiders. Apparently one bite from these isn't necessarily fatal. Multiple bites will send you straight to the gulag. So Tennessee, ciao! If I missed your state in this one of the last, let me know. Send this to anyone you know in any of these states so that they know to stay safe. All with me now. Elon!
What state are you guys in, man? I want to know, man, because I've been seeing I know we have seekers all around. So, and was y'all state mentioned on that list, man, of those I guess animals that try to send you to the afterlife, bro?
Have you ever thought about why mobile gaming sucks? First, most games are free, but you have to watch an ad every 5 seconds of playing the game, which completely ruins it. Second, most free games require in-app purchases to actually get anything done within the game. And third, they all require you to be on Wi-Fi or your cellular data, so you can't even play them everywhere. That's why I want to introduce Aquarium Crush. This game is 100% free with no ads or in-app purchases, and you can play without Wi-Fi or cellular data. I really don't know how they do it, but the goal of the game is to get your fish as big as you possibly can without getting eaten. And trust me, it's not as easy as it looks.
Damn.
These puzzles are unlike any I've seen in other games and is genuinely the perfect way to kill some time. So if you want a game that gives you everything it promises, go to my page and download it right here. That radiation.
Amazing things you have never seen before. This man was walking in his yard and the ground started moving. This isn't fried chicken, it's actually a crystal. This is what the top of Mount Everest looks like. It was so cold that this person's food froze midair.
What?
This is what a cat's tongue looks like under a microscope. It looks like a bunch of smaller tongues. And I bet you've never seen a brick road machine. I always thought people did it.
These are things that over time got too expensive. Number one is fast food. I remember when a McChicken was just $1. Number two, streaming services. A, there's too many, and B, they're getting too pricey. Airbnb, it's probably cheaper these days to get a hotel room. Number four, snacks. An entire bag of chips is like $6. Number five, concerts. It's actually insane how much ticket prices have gone up. Number six, fixing things. Like if your toaster breaks, it's probably cheaper to buy a new one. Number seven, haircuts. I know mine don't look good, but this was $50. Number 8, coffee. It is not uncommon to spend $80 a week. Number 9, theme parks or fairs. You're gonna spend $200. Number 10, restaurants. Aside from tipping 20%, this is still a lot more than it used to be. Number 11, buying a new car. Back in the day, it was way different. Number 12, going to the movies. Tickets ain't bad, but a soda and popcorn, $15. Number 14, going to any professional sports game. Might as well stay home. And lastly, box cereal. It might sound absurd, but $8 for Cocoa Puffs is crazy.
Facts that will mess with your perception of time.
He's spitting, bro.
Mean Girls is more of a classic movie today than The Breakfast Club was when Mean Girls was originally released. Rebecca Black has doubled in age since Friday was released in 2011. This is what AI video looked like just 1 year ago. And this is what AI video looks like now. Clint Eastwood's parents would not have been able to celebrate the birth of their son with a can of beer. That's because Clint Eastwood was born in 1930 and canned beer wasn't even a thing until 1935. This is Nancy Pelosi attending JFK's inauguration in 1961 as a 20-year-old. We know of bowhead whales that have lived for more than 200 years. So any bowheads that managed to live through the golden age of American whaling in the 19th century could still be swimming in the ocean today. When novels became popular in the 1700s, the media thought that young people were reading too much. They were calling it the reading rage, the reading fever, and the reading mania. The oldest currently working train engine in the world was built when slavery was still legal in the United States.
Here's how to actually lucid dream. Lucid dreaming is when you become aware that you're in a dream, and this means you can now control everything. It's very fun. So here's the technique called MILD. It stands for Mnemonic Induction to Lucid Dreaming. It's the method that works for me. As you are falling asleep, repeat the phrase in your head, I will control my dream. I will control my dream. I will control my dream. By repeating this mantra, you're encouraging your brain to be aware when you begin dreaming, and therefore, you should lucid dream.
Hey man, to be able to control your dreams, that's actually next level, man. I remember sometimes, man, just throughout the day, I'm like, did I dream that, bro? And it seems like it was so real, but to be actually to control your dreams, man, like control your actions and where the dream goes, I'm definitely gonna have to try that Seekers, man. Lucid dreaming. Have any of you guys tried that before? If you do, I would love to hear your stories. That's an edit.
These are some truly unsettling facts. And I found all these on Reddit. Number 1, the world's loneliest whale. There's a whale that resides deep in the ocean that has been singing a song for years, but no other whales can understand it. The reason is because this whale's voice is so deep that it's too low for any other whale to hear. And he's been calling out trying to find a mate or a family member for years now, but nobody can hear him or find him. So he's been swimming deep in the ocean by himself for so long. And it's because of this that scientists have called him the world's loneliest whale. Number 2, Abraham Lincoln. Now, we all know Abraham Lincoln. He was like our 15th or 16th president or something like that, had a crazy beard, and he was assassinated. But this is a very unsettling fact about him. The 3 days leading up to the fateful night where Abraham Lincoln would be assassinated, Lincoln had had nightmares detailing his assassination. And we know this because his bodyguard, who was named Crook, actually detailed this entire thing. Lincoln had told Crook about all these nightmares, and Crook begged him not to go to the theater. And all that Lincoln said in return was, "Goodbye, Crook." And he left. And the reason why this was weird was because Crook said every single time that Abe had left, he would always say good night, not goodbye. But he could tell that Abe knew this would be the last time they saw each other. And finally, emergency broadcast. Now, we all know what an emergency broadcast is, but in the event of the world ending, CNN has a pre-recorded emergency broadcast from the 1990s that would kind of be like a farewell to everyone. They have this ready to play just in case that fateful day comes, and that to me is truly horrifying, which is why it's perfect for today's video.
Urban legends from around the world. La Ciguapa, located in the Dominican Republic. Here's the story. Said to be a hypnotic mythical creature in the form of a woman. Said to have long hair that covers her whole body, and the most interesting part is that she has backwards feet. Said to dwell in forests and the Highland Mountains. She lures unsuspecting men in, and they are never seen again. The first claim of this creature actually dates back all the way to 1866. Which country is next?
Facts about money that will blow your
story.
mind. You are more likely to die in a car accident on your way to buy a lottery ticket than you are winning the lottery. LeBron James will make about 3 times more money with his NBA salary than all 151 WNBA players combined. The mascot for the Denver Nuggets basketball team will also make about 3 times more money than the highest paid WNBA player. George Clooney once paid 14 of his closest friends $1 million as a surprise gift with one condition. They all had to take it or none of them got it. If you started with 1 penny and doubled your money every single day, it would take you less than 28 days to become a millionaire. A lawyer made a deal with a 90-year-old woman that said if he paid her rent every single month, he would keep the apartment after she died. He died 1 year before she did, over 30 years later. The lawyer ended up paying $180,000 for an apartment that he never lived in. Follow for more.
That was the deal of a lifetime.
The most terrifying prisoners of all time. Known as one of Australia's most dangerous and violent female prisoners, this is Rebecca Butterfield. She was initially sent to Silverwater Prison for stabbing her neighbor, and that is where things got worse. Way worse. And who was also a fellow inmate 33 times with a carving knife. The prison murder landed her another 12 years, and another 5 was added on as she was deemed too dangerous for society. During one violent episode, she said, "If I get out, I will kill again." Butterfield has attacked prison nurses and doctors, throwing boiling tea and water on guards and other inmates, and even lunged towards guards, saying she was trying to take their guns. As of January 2021, she is to remain behind bars until 2023.
Menace to society, like I said, some
This is
people
the how long
too
you survive
dangerous.
in the wild vision test. Oh, and spoiler alert, we haven't got a chance. Okay, here's the first one. I'm going to say this one's pretty easy. And let me just say, every single animal that are in all of these photos could easily subtract you from the equation that is life if they wanted to, and then proceed to sleep like a baby afterwards. Okay, next up, I'd say this one's pretty average. This one did drive me fucking insane, and we're only on the second one, so good luck. Don't worry if you can't see it, because I can assure you, it sees you. The worst part is once you see it and know exactly what animal it is, then you can pretty much guarantee that there are more around. Since I couldn't see this one, I would not survive in the wild, I'd get clapped. Okay, next up, I'm going to put this one in the hard category. I mean, I'll give you a clue since we're looking at the ground, you probably know we're looking for something small. But still not small enough that it couldn't send you to the next realm before you have a chance to say, oh, there it is. Okay, this one's difficult and I am sorry for this one. And if you don't want to be put on the front of a newspaper, you really need to find it. However, finding it will not make it any better because you'll realize it's looking directly into your soul. Because these animals typically like to stare at what they want to take for themselves. And finally, we have insane, and this is just cruel. And I'm not trolling for views, it's there. Now send this video to a friend to see how many they can see.
Seekers, could you guys see any of those animals you was talking about?
It touches countries in every continent. No
America, United States. Europe, Liechtenstein. Asia, Qatar. Oceania, Australia. South America, Chile. Africa, Nigeria.
That doesn't shock me at all. The top countries, man. Maybe except for Chile. I wasn't expecting that one.
You just watched Into the Fire, The Lost Daughter. You need to watch this documentary next. It's very similar. In 1987, 15-year-old Jennifer Pandos went missing from her own bedroom. Since parents is going to relentlessly attempt to get this case closed. This documentary is really good, and if you liked Into the Fire, you're going to love this one. Let me know what you think about this in the comments.
Urban legends from every state. The legend of Charlie No Face, located in various parts of Pennsylvania. Here's the story. Also known as the Green Man, Charlie No Face was a real person. His name is Raymond Robinson, and he has quite a tragic tale. The legend was told as a man with no face would stalk people at night. The real story is when he was 8 years old, he was climbing up an electrical pole and got shocked, surviving but terribly burning his face and arms. He actually walked at night to avoid being ridiculed or scaring people. People were assholes. And as far as people calling him the Green Man, some say that it was just his clothes reflecting the lights off the cars. People who knew him said he was a hell of a nice guy, just a man forced into isolation by society.
That's so sad, man. Had a show all night just so he wouldn't scare
This Las
anybody.
Vegas man allegedly beat a customer severely for breaking the nacho cheese machine, because people will fight over anything these days. To top this all off, this dude works at the gas station too. His name is Myron Bully. He will not be charged for attempted murder. This happened early in the morning on September 3rd, about 2 weeks ago. The victim was bleeding from all over his face, and the police had to transport him to a hospital to get treated for skull fractures. He also had multiple brain bleeds on top of that, so he definitely got beat pretty severely here. There was a witness here who was pumping gas and asked Myron, because Myron is an attendant, if he was going to call 911 for the victim. He responded by saying, "I'm not going to call 911 from him, I hope he learned his lesson." The victim got nachos, and apparently Myron thought he was putting too much cheese on it, and then the machine malfunctioned, then he kicked him out of the store. The guy tried to come back for his nachos, and Myron greeted him with a baseball bat. He was swinging at the victim pretty hard. Witnesses said he couldn't get up for several minutes. Myron said if I hit him hard, his brains would have been smashed. So Myron has absolutely no remorse for this. His bail is set at $10,000. I'm not sure what kind of sentence he's going to get. My guess is like 10 to 15 years. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Seriously, if you don't...
People will literally fight over the most dumbest things, man. Really over some nacho cheese. Because he was pouring too much, that justified their actions. I'm telling you, man, the world... People just have to be nicer to each other, man. That doesn't make no sense. That was some damn nacho cheese, really.
You know what's going on over in America right now, you need to watch this video. So the other day, of course, there was the presidential debate, and of course there was one major point that everybody's talking about now. Social media going crazy with already this sound being made, and hundreds, thousands of people making videos. Well, it's been like 2 days, and there's already 26,500 videos.
Eat the cat, eat the cat, they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats.
This all came from this one video that this guy just remixed it, and people got nuts. Meanwhile, though, in Ohio, this happened yesterday. Like, what the hell? The cops found this 27-year-old woman with blood and fur around her mouth, leaning and kneeling over a deceased cat, which she reportedly had eaten. Seriously, what's going on? What is going on? Make sure that follow button, I'll keep you updated.
I missed some as well.
Best friends killed an abusive husband together. Maryanne and Wanda were the best of friends, like, all through their high school days. They were both members of the 4-H club, both active in the FFA, and after graduation, Maryanne went out and she was looking for a bright new world, and Wanda looked all around her hometown, and all she found was Earl. And y'all, it wasn't 2 weeks after she got married that Wanda started getting abused. She started wearing dark sunglasses, long sleeve blouses, makeup to cover her bruises. But she finally got the nerve to file for divorce, and she let the law take it from there. But Earl walked right through that restraining order and put her in intensive care. And right away, Maryanne flew in from Atlanta on a red-eye midnight flight, and she held Wanda's hand, and they worked out a plan, and it didn't take them long to decide that Earl had to die. And y'all, they killed Earl together. They were mocking him and laughing at him as he was dying. They were saying things like, What's wrong with those black-eyed peas? They tasted all right to me. Oh, what's the matter? You feeling weak? Why don't you lay down and sleep, Earl? Oh, ain't it dark, all wrapped up in that tarp? It was sadistic, it was twisted, and they took a lot of pleasure in bringing an end to Earl. And now the cops came by to bring Earl in. They searched their house high and low. They tipped their hats and they said, "Thank you, ladies. If you hear from him, let us know, okay?" But the weeks went by. Spring turned to summer. Summer turned into fall. And turns out, Earl was a missing person that nobody missed at all. So girls bought some land and a roadside stand out there on Highway 109, and they sell Tennessee ham, strawberry jam, and they don't lose any sleep at night because Earl had to die. Matter of fact, they held onto his body for a while and they stuffed him in the trunk. They actually took his body to the lake. They had a picnic lunch. I mean, what they did to this guy was absolutely outrageous. But truth is, Earl had to die. Y'all, I hope you enjoyed the story today. My name is Jordan Rayner. I'm a recording artist trying to get a record deal. Hit follow, help me get to 1 million. And also, I've got a brand new EP called Revolver that just dropped on Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes. It's freaking amazing. Please go give it a spin. Cheers. Goodbye.
Fact that you didn't know.
Damn, he didn't even list one. Oh, another one, man.
Facts that will blow your mind. There is enough DNA in the average person's body to stretch from the sun to Pluto and back 17 times. The average human body carries 10 times more bacterial cells than human cells. It takes a photon up to 40,000 years to travel from the core of the sun to its surface, but only 8 minutes to travel the rest of the way to Earth. At over 2,000 kilometers long, the Great Barrier Reef is the largest living structure on Earth. There are 8 times as many atoms in a teaspoonful of water as there are teaspoonfuls of water in the Atlantic Ocean. In an entire lifetime, the average person walks the equivalent of 5 times around the world. There are actually over 24 states of matter that we know of. Grasshoppers have ears in their bellies. Killer whales are actually dolphins. You can't taste food without saliva. Follow and comment below which fact blew your mind.
I think it's the saliva one. And that the grasshoppers have ears in their bellies.
Nobody would have ever believed that 2 weeks after their beautiful wedding ceremony, she would be found brutally murdered. 32-year-old Melissa Jubain and Brian Gentero got married on August 24th of this year, literally less than 2 months ago. Melissa and Brian were doing long distance. She was a nurse in Oregon and Brian worked and lived in Washington State. Their plan was that once they got married, Melissa would move to Washington and be with Brian and start their new life together. But unfortunately, that would never happen because on September 4th at approximately 10:18 a.m., police were called to Melissa's house to do a welfare check when she failed to show up to her job. Melissa was scheduled to work that morning at the hospital, and when she didn't show up, her co-workers knew there was something wrong because she was very punctual and reliable. Police first noticed that Melissa's car was still parked where she usually leaves it, meaning that on that morning she didn't even make it to her car. After looking for Melissa for days, she was finally found, and her neighbor, Bryce Sherbert, was arrested. They found crucial evidence which links Bryce to Melissa's murder, but they still have not revealed details about that. Now, Melissa and Bryce lived on the same floor in that apartment, and it was stated that he was obsessing over her for some time and just decided to take her life. I hope they come out with more details on this case, but for now, I did create an entire video going over all the details. If you want to check it out, it's on my YouTube.
Be careful, man. Even your neighbors, bro. You gotta watch everybody, man. He said he was obsessing over her, so the signs were there. You gotta be careful with the neighbors. I'm looking at my sideways now.
These are the saddest and most wholesome graves in the entire world. This grieving mother added a sandbox to her little boy's grave who had passed away unexpectedly, and now his older brother plays in it every single day. This is the gravesite of a boy who died of an incurable illness in 1865. A few hours before he died, he told his dad he was scared of death because he knew they were going to bury him underground with no lights. So the parents honor his wish and put a window in his tomb. After her daughter died of yellow fever in 1892, a grieving mother wanted to make sure that her little girl was never alone. You see, her daughter was absolutely terrified of storms, so she constructed a staircase that goes directly down into her tomb. Every time there was a thunderstorm, that mother would go to the graveyard and sit with her daughter for hours, comforting her in her grave.
Dedicated parents, man. Rare breed.
Crazy facts that will blow your mind. P2.33. The ocean is the most popular place to dispose of murder victims, and it holds more human remains than all of the graveyards on the earth combined. When you look up at the blue sky and see those white dots flying around, you're actually seeing your own white blood cells. When a person cries and the first drop of tears comes from the right eye, it's happiness. If it is from the left, it's pain.
Wow, really? Left and right determines pain and
One of
happiness.
the world's scariest animals just got a whole lot scarier, and Planet of the Apes is slowly becoming non-fiction. Because apparently chimpanzees are out here murking gorillas. Scientists in 2021 witnessed a troop of chimpanzees basically jumping a family of gorillas. And when I say gang, we're talking about almost 30 chimps pressing a family of 5. Keep in mind a silverback can weigh up to 400 pounds, could probably bench press your car. And according to witnesses, the silverback was eating chimps left and right like they were paper mache. But eventually the chimps overwhelmed the bigger silverback and even kidnapped a baby gorilla. I'm not going to tell you exactly what they did, but that family of 5 became a party of 4. And it wasn't even the last time. Because later that year, scientists watched the same group of chimpanzees do the same exact thing. Square up with a family of gorillas, kidnapped a baby, and erase its name from the gorilla census. And it's not like we didn't know chimps were about that. They often hunt bush babies and vervet monkeys, and we've even seen them use weapons like spears to do it. But it's one thing to hunt something that weighs like 5 Skittles. Going gorillas is another tier of Black Air Force activity.
I'll say.
Which is why I'd rather be locked in a room with a jaguar than a chimp. Because at least a jaguar gonna make it quick.
Jaguar or chimp, Seekers? I ain't gonna lie, I think I still have to choose chimp, man. Might have a chance to fight them off, but they freaking going after gorillas now. What is going on in the animal census, bro? In the animal kingdom. He keeps us up to date on all the edible lore, man. So we definitely gonna have to check it out.
Disgusting facts you won't believe are true. PT-17. Many gummy candies are made from pigskin, cattle bones, and cattle hide. Hot dogs can contain traces of hair, skin, nails, and different meats. Canned mushrooms contain over 20 or more maggots of any size per 100 grams.
Take mushrooms and hot dogs off the list.
Animals that became serial killers, Part 2. The sloth bear of Mysore. In 1957, the sloth bear of Mysore mauled over 30 humans and took the lives of 12. The sloth bear's killing spree didn't stop, and the bear just had a desire for killing. The killer sloth bear went missing in late 1957, after the killings took place. What do you think ever happened to the sloth bear of Mysore?
I don't know, but y'all saw that last clip? That's some Black Air Force energy, bro. My man was recording it too, like, bro, you need to hit the jets. I ain't recording nothing, bro. Edit. Call him out.
Gruesome facts you didn't know, Part 240. In early Roman times, the male head of a Roman family possessed the right to life and death. He had the legal right to execute his children, sell them into slavery, or abandon unwanted or deformed newborns in the forest to die of exposure. Roughly 30,000 people, both children and adults, suffer from an amputated finger each year, with doors and power tools being the most common causes. The only satellite crashing into Earth fatality ever recorded in history was in 1961 when a cow in Cuba was struck by a metal fragment. In 1966, Lester Eubanks was sentenced to life without parole for the murder and attempted rape of 14-year-old Mary Ellen Diener. After 7 years behind bars, he was considered a model inmate and was granted special privileges. One of those was a temporary leave to go Christmas shopping at a Columbus mall on December 7th. The child murderer vanished, never returned to the pickup spot, and was never seen or heard from again.
SpongeBob. Who even came up with that?
My father.
Liam, come here. Liam, right now. What is that? Okay, I'm calling your mom. Just stay right here. Cheese. Cheese. What you doing? What you see? What? What you see?
It's a papa.
saying hi to? Who are you saying hi to? Dude, you need to stop that. You're freaking me out. Come on.
Here are some things that are illegal to say out loud, so this is for educational purposes only. So you can't say, and I quote, let's organize a militia to overthrow the government, illegal. You also can't say, and I quote, I'm going to bomb that government building, very illegal. You also can't mention having a bomb on a commercial aircraft, obviously. You can't say, and I quote, I'm going to steal from that store and hurt anyone who tries to stop me, so don't do that. You can't say, and I quote, I'll make sure that immigrant family never feels safe in this neighborhood. That's a no-no. You can't say, and I quote, I'll release everyone's private information online unless they pay me. Of course. You also can't say, and I quote, I want to distribute, insert illegal product here, because I think it's harmless. Nor can you say, and I quote, I will pay someone to assault my neighbor. And finally, you can't say, and I quote, I hope someone shoots the president, because that's very illegal. So don't say these things.
Facts that will blow
Those are
your
very
mind.
basic things not to
The
say.
world population has more than doubled since John F. Kennedy was president. Black teeth were a sign of wealth in 18th century England.
What?
There's a fence in Australia longer than the distance between Seattle and Miami. Almonds are part of the peach family. The longest time between two twins being born is 87 days. A jockey won a horse race while dead. Bananas are Walmart's best-selling item. Scotland's national animal is the unicorn. May 29th is Put a Pillow on Your Fridge Day. Follow and comment below which fact blew your mind.
Put a pillow on your fridge day, bro. May 29th. I need to mark that down, bro.
Disturbing facts about the human body you wish you never knew. Because your brain has no pain receptors, brain surgery is sometimes performed while the patient is awake. Like this woman who was playing the violin while getting brain surgery. Now, everybody knows that feeling you get on a roller coaster when it feels like your stomach is turning. But do you actually know that feeling is caused by all your organs moving around your body? Next up, did you know you can break a rib while sneezing? This might sound fake, but it's very possible. So, next time you sneeze, you could break a rib. Finally, a human head remains conscious for around 20 seconds after being decapitated. I can just imagine what your mind is thinking while your head is laying on the floor off your body.
That seems impossible, man. They said there's been cases where that's been, I guess, recorded, so that stuff has to be one of the weirdest facts we've heard yet.
Genius inventions that should exist everywhere. Some elevators...
Oh, man. I wanted to hear those inventions.
He boarded his victim scalped across the Canadian border. This is 44-year-old Beverly Capone, and she worked as a data processor in Mount Vernon. On Monday, February 25th of 1985, Beverly went to work as usual, and when she got from work, she was abducted by 30-year-old Alex Mingle, and he was a Dutch immigrant. Initially, Alex needed Beverly for her car, but he had some other plans in his mind. He then followed Beverly to a cabin he would often visit to hunt and fish. Once they had arrived, he had took Beverly's life. Once he had unalived Beverly, he carefully took off her face and scalp with a sharp knife. Alex then dumped her body approximately half a mile into the woods. 2 days after unaliving Beverly, Alex was seen outside of a shopping mall in Toronto, Canada. He was driving Beverly's car that was reported missing by her family. Alex crashed her car into a wall while trying to escape from police when he was cornered. As police were arresting Alex, they were deeply disturbed by his appearance. Alex was not only driving Beverly's car, but he was also wearing her scalp like if it was a wig and her lipstick. It was later revealed that in order for Alex to get across the border, he used Beverly's ID, her scalp, her hair, and her lipstick to pose as Beverly. In the backseat of the car, police discovered facial tissue, and they believed that Alex was trying to wear Beverly's face. When Alex was arrested, he tried to escape from his police escort, and that escort shot him and he died immediately. About 11 days later, Beverly's remains were found in a heavy wooded area, and it revealed that she was stabbed in the chest, and her scalp and her face were just sliced off. Unfortunately, Beverly was not the only victim that Alex had. He also did this to many others.
Mind-blowing tech facts. Did you know the first ever mobile phone weighed over 2 kilograms? Your smartphone today has more power than the computers that NASA used to put a man on the moon. The average person checks their smartphone 58 times per day. We all know that switching phones or losing data can be an absolute nightmare. Luckily, I found Wondershare Dr. Phone. It makes transferring data, unlocking phones, and recovering lost files super easy. Whether it's a forgotten password or switching all of your data to a new phone, Dr. Phone has you covered.
So you can see here at the bottom, this is all of the things that I can do, like back up my device, export all of my data, unlock the screen if I've been locked out, erase all of my data, transfer WhatsApp history. It literally removes the iOS screen lock, so if I get locked out on my phone because I've entered the password too many times, I can recover. So if you want to avoid all the tech headaches, hit the link in my bio and check out Dr. Phone. It's also available for iOS 18.
That's how people can be used to hack to get into your phone, man. It has some advantages and some disadvantages as well. You can just bypass the lock screen, get all your data. Gotta be tapped in.
Some facts you didn't know, part 245. During the live broadcast of a Japanese game show in 2008, the host Tetsuchi Yanagita was encouraged to join in on the game. Upon falling in the shallow, muddy waters, he horrifically broke his neck, which left him paralyzed from the neck down. Completely unaware of his injuries, the contestants thought he was just playing a prank on them. They proceeded to push his face into the waters while he struggled to stay alive. When serial killer Ed Kemper cut off his mother's head, he placed it on a shelf and screamed at it for over an hour. He then cut out her tongue and larynx and tried to put them in the garbage disposal. But it was unable to break down the tough vocal cords, and he found this rather ironic. He said that seemed appropriate, as much as she bitched and yelled and screamed at me over all those years. A fire started in Chicago on October 8th of 1871 and burned down almost the entire city in just 2 days. 300 people lost their lives and over 100,000 were left homeless. With most of the city being constructed out of wood, a 4-month drought, as well as firefighters being sent to the wrong location at the start of the fire, it became known as the Great Chicago Fire of 1871.
This is the world's most haunted doll, said to be so haunted that if you take a picture or a video of him without his permission, you'll be cursed. Also stated by many people to be 10 times more dangerous than the Annabelle doll. Now, Robert's story is weird, but here it is. Back in the 1970s, a young boy named Eugene Otto was given Robert the doll by his grandfather. Once these two met, they were completely inseparable, doing absolutely everything together, as a child and his toy usually did. Up until one night, where Eugene can remember going to sleep with Robert, but waking up in the middle of the night to some really weird noises coming from across his room. When he finally got up and checked it out, it was Robert. He was standing by himself, just looking at Eugene. After that, Eugene and the family decided that they were going to put Robert up in the attic, and it is said that Robert stayed there for years. But every single night around the same time, they would hear rustling and scraping and almost a running sound on the attic, meaning that Robert must have been running around up there. Which, as we know, is almost impossible for a doll to do, so it has to be possessed. The other damning piece of evidence is that neighbors have said that when they came home, they have seen Robert inside of the attic looking out the attic window, which is just mind-blowing. Robert currently sits at the Mortality Museum in Key West, Florida, and of course the protective spirit box, making him 117 years old, at least in this lifetime.
In my opinion, this is like the most notorious place in this entire country. The Ancient Ram Inn. It's in this pit where they found the skeletal remains of children who were sacrificed.
Not the sort of place I want to live.
It's a phobic place. It is the most evil house I've had the misfortune to visit.
My father, he was a devout Baptist minister when he moved in. He was tapped by incubus, the sex demon.
Satanic rituals were performed here.
Using it for curses.
This place, every time you walk in, I wouldn't spend the night on my own. It's supposed to be linked to the devil, basically. It's a sex demon.
There, the triangular mark is what they call a witch's mark to ward off evil spirits. I'm not joking, he possesses people in here. You really have to be careful.
There's the reports of a person who was killed by having his face pressed into the open fire.
So that's why I don't live here now. It's more than just the little things moving. It's, you know, it's got this place has got personality.
Gang bang. What the?
Brave souls.
Pissing is something messing with my leg.
Ain't your man, man. There's some brave souls going there.
First of all, these waves are screaming to you to not come in. And then to put your child in that situation and to record it.
Do you
you have any idea how rare your body is? 0.007% of people are born with 6 fingers or 6 toes. 2% of people have a longer second toe than their big toe. 10% of people have a ring finger that's longer than their index finger, usually due to higher exposure to testosterone during their fetal development. 10% of people have an extra spleen, and some people have up to 5 extra spleens? What? 25% of people have the thumb joint that bends backwards. I don't know if that counts or not, but I can do that. Wee woo, wee woo. 1 in 10,000 people are born with their organs on the opposite side of their body. 35% of people can gleek, but only 1% of people can do it on command. 11% of people have a small bump on the edge of their upper ear. 0.5% of people have eyes that have one color in the center and another around the edge. 9% of people have a gap between their 2 front teeth. I think I'm good. 5% of people have a double crown on their scalp where the hair swirls in 2 directions instead of 1.
These are the beauty standards from around the world, part 1. These women are from the Apatani tribe in India. Now when a girl reaches the age of 10 in their culture, round plugs are inserted into the sides of their nose and black lines are permanently tattooed on their face. They were known as the most beautiful women of all the local tribes. But because of this, the men in the other tribes began committing horrific crimes. They began kidnapping these girls of the tribe never to be seen again. So to make the women less attractive and hopefully avoid being abducted, they made the nose plugs 5 times bigger than before. But eventually this became an important part of their culture and became a sign of beauty and belonging instead. Unfortunately, the government ended up banning these practices, and now they are no longer followed by the youngest generation.
That's crazy, man. They did that tradition to show beauty and strength, and the man from the other tribe took it way too far, and it became like the opposite to protect them. It's crazy, man. But you know, different cultures do different things, so that's why you always gotta expose yourself to different cultures, man. Try to learn as much as you can.
Today we're talking about the Jaws movie animatronics and how huge they are and how gross and terrifying they also are. So this was a little drawing schematic that was put out for the Jaws movie and like how they were filming it, and like look up here, that's what it looked like underwater. This disgusting, look, there were 2 people in the water in scuba suits with cameras to film them. This would be $1 million a day job for me to hold that. I could not. This is really icky. Not that icky because it's not in the water yet, but these hydraulics that I know are gonna go in the water, yay. Why is bro booping his snoot like it's a cute little puppy? That is not a puppy, that is terror. Also, why would you do this? Why would you get in the mouth of an animatronic shark? This is fake for TikTok. This is fake. It's a fake shark. Do not do this at home. Why would you do this in the first place? Is that Steven Spielberg? I don't know what he looked like in the 70s. This is icky. This is an icky photo. I don't like this at all. I showed this one in the video yesterday of how big it is in comparison to a human. That is also from the video yesterday talking about the animatronic and Japan. You know what this reminds me of? This picture of the animatronic shark? It reminds me of the shark, robot shark from James and the Giant Peach. Does anyone remember this?
No.
I was terrified of this at 3 years old. So yeah, could you work on the Jaws ride movie if we were to go back in time? I bet not.
Nah, not for me. I mean, I risk his life, man, getting in that animatronic. I don't care if that was
hate all you
fake.
want, but this right here is the peak male form. The end game of evolution and natural selection's strongest soldier is the proboscis monkey, and it is the most interesting monkey in the world. Chances are, you've never seen one in a zoo. I think it's so the simian sex symbol doesn't destroy every man's body image. I also believe the facial flesh sac amplifies their calls. Go ahead, look up the sound proboscis monkeys make. It's not what you think. As you can see, the monk with the trunk is built different. Breaking down all those leaves is why the Nariz warrior has a pot belly. Also, their nickname is Orang Balanda, which is a Malay word for Dutchman. Jury's out on who exactly should be offended. They also have webbed feet, and that's cause not only are they arboreal, the sinus soldier can swim. One of the underappreciated rough drafts of nature, and one of the many you can see on National Geographic's Underdogs, a show about animals that don't get talked about nearly enough. And you can catch him and that beak on Underdogs, streaming now on Disney Plus and Hulu. The more you know.
Facts that I wish I didn't know.
When you die, the last thing to go is your hearing. So as all your other mortal sensations are leaving this world, the last thing you're ever going to experience are the sounds going on around you, which very well could be like your family members crying or cheering. By the year 2050, there's going to be more plastic in the ocean than fish. When pigs get a cold, like a cough, very often they will shoot their intestines out of their anus, and farmers have to, like, stuff it back in.
I never want to see it, ever.
Babies who were born on the literal perfect day. Back in 2019, a baby girl was born on July 11th, making the date 7/11. Well, the baby was also born at 7:11 p.m., and the baby also weighed 7 pounds and 11 ounces. From this, the convenience store 7-Eleven saw this and gave the baby $7,111, making this baby the most 7-Eleven baby in history. Next, in 2022, this baby girl was born at one of the craziest times possible, because she was born on February 22nd, 2022, which is 2/22/2022. But she was also born at 2:22 a.m., and she weighed 7 pounds and 10 ounces, which makes her a total 122 total ounces. And I can't forget that she was born in room number 2 of the hospital. This is absolutely wild.
The baby at the end of 28 years later is completely immune to the rage virus. If you haven't seen the movie yet, I suggest you click off. So when Spike and his mom are in the train, they all of a sudden run across an infected, who seemed to be more normal than not. She was actually holding Isla's hands as she was giving birth, and ends up giving birth to a baby. The mother then completely turns, she ends up getting unalived, and Spike and his mom run out of the train, with of course said baby. Now here's why I think the baby's completely immune. It's because we've seen immunity in this series before. A lot of people like to say that 28 weeks later has nothing to do with the premise of the story, because it's different characters and in a different time frame. Why were some of the clips from 28 weeks later used in 28 years later? If that were the case, this would completely add up perfectly, because how could we add something new to an already zombie movie? People who are immune. Spike of course then names the baby Isla after his mother, who ends up passing away, and leaving her back where Spike ended up growing up, with of course his dad. Now this is just my theory, because even the doctor said, oh, the placenta must have been able to keep her away from the rage virus. But like I've said, we've seen this before. We've seen people be infected and not be infected who have been bit by the same exact zombie. Take it the whole family from 28 weeks later minus the dad. I'm just saying, this would be a crazy setup.
I mean, I've been hearing some reviews about 28 Days Later. People were saying like the ending, they didn't like it. They said it felt like a Power Rangers movie or something like that. So yeah, I know VC because I don't be checking out scary movies like that. But if any of you guys saw it, man, drop a review down below. Yeah, I believe the immunity thing happened.
This elephant killed a woman and then crashed her funeral. In 2022, 70-year-old Maya Murmur was gathering water near her home in India. It was supposed to be a routine task, but that morning, a herd of wild elephants emerged from the nearby forest. Most villagers know to keep their distance. Maya tried to flee, but one elephant broke away from the group, chased her down, and trampled her with brutal force. She died at the scene. Her grieving family arranged a funeral later that day. As is custom, Maya's body was placed atop a wooden pyre for cremation. A solemn ritual under the open sky, but then thunderous footsteps echoed in the distance. The same elephant had returned, and this time it brought reinforcements. A stampede of elephants crashed into the village mid-funeral, sending terrified relatives running for cover. In a scene that defied any logic, the very elephant that had killed Maya pulled her lifeless body from the pyre and trampled her a second time. Her remains were left mangled, and the ceremony was left in ruin. This elephant must have had some personal issues with Maya, and this death is just extremely unfortunate.
Pictures you have to look at twice to understand. This toothpaste looks like a nose. Yeah, I wouldn't use that. This person's fried egg ended up looking like a chickadee. Whoa. This girl looks like she has extremely skinny legs, but it's actually just her track pants. This magazine cover looks like this woman's face. Oof. It looks as if these people are on a really tall building, but if you turn the image sideways, they're actually just lying down. By the way, did you know you can customize the font on your phone to make it look like your handwriting? Just press this button on my profile and try it. Why do these steaks look like my runners? Now that's what you call fast food.
Really? That joke?
We have some crazy things happening in the world right now. Kim Jong-un watched as North Korea's newest warship literally fell off the dock. A man proposed to his girlfriend with a tornado swirling in the background. Nvidia is attempting to create an entire digital twin of the Earth. Rockstar changed the appearance of a character from the GTA 6 trailer after a Florida man claimed it was him and asked for money. AI can now guess passwords with 93% accuracy just by listening to the sounds of your keyboard keystrokes over Zoom.
That's terrifying.
Can you guess that? Russian scientists thawed out 300 worms from Siberian permafrost, and 2 of them that are both over 30,000 years old came back to life. Don't think that's gonna end well for us. This is the world's last known white giraffe, and he is being tracked by a GPS after his female counterpart and calf were taken out by poachers.
Man, the thing that got to me was the AI, bro. They can literally crack the passwords now just by hearing.
These are 8 horrifying facts that will probably keep you up at night. Episode 20. Number 1. Coffin births. This is a rare phenomenon that is scientifically known as post-mortem fetal extrusion. It occurs when a pregnant woman dies and her body expels the fetus. The gases in the abdomen builds up and then forces the stillborn fetus out. Number 2. Jeannie, the feral child. Discovered in 1970, Jeannie was a girl who had been kept isolated by her family in Los Angeles for over a decade. She was almost entirely mute and had barely any exposure to human interaction or the outside world. Number 3. The Green Children of Woolpit. In the 12th century, 2 children with green-tinted skin appeared in the village of Woolpit in England. They spoke an unknown language and only ate raw beans. Eventually, their skin lost its green color and they adapted to normal food. The origin of these children still remains a mystery. Number 4. The Hinterkaifeck murders. In 1922, an entire family was mysteriously murdered at their farm in Germany. Reports found footsteps leading to their farm, but not away. This case was never solved. Number 6. The Devil's Kettle. In Minnesota, United States, there is a waterfall that splits into 2. One side flowing into a river and the other side vanishing into a hole. Scientists still don't know where that water goes. Number 7. NASA would never release information about asteroids approaching Earth. Not because they're worried about us freaking out. It's because we don't have the technology to detect if there are asteroids coming from very far away. Number 8.
Wow.
Human extinction. This is linked to number 7. We can't really confirm if any asteroids are coming to hit us because in 2017 an asteroid named AG-13 was about to hit Earth with less than the distance of the moon. The asteroid flew so fast, scientists were only able to see it 48 hours before it could have hit Earth. This is real information. Let me know if you want part 21.
Yeah, we need to know. NASA's sleeping on the job.
¡Me dispararon! ¡Me dispararon! ¡Hermano! ¿Qué pasó? ¿Qué pasó? ¿Qué pasó?
This miraculous staircase defies the laws of physics and no one even knows who built it. In 1878, they're building this chapel in Santa Fe, New Mexico when all of a sudden the French architect leading the construction just dies out of nowhere. The chapel was almost done, but a crucial staircase to the choir loft was never finished, and without the architect, no one knew how to do it. So the nuns of the chapel prayed to Saint Joseph for 9 days straight for someone to be sent to finish building these stairs. And lo and behold, at the end of the 9th day, a man with a toolbox riding a donkey comes into the chapel from across across the desert. He tells the nuns he was sent there to finish building the stairs, but they had to grant him complete privacy during the entire process. He takes 3 months to fully construct this spiral staircase that leads into the upper loft and then just leaves without telling anyone. This is where it starts to get crazy. The nuns realized they didn't even pay him, so they went to their local lumberyard to ask how much they owed for this project. The lumberyard workers tell the nuns that no one ever came to get wood from them to build those stairs. And this is in the middle of the desert in 1878, mind you. Wood is not easy to come by nor transport. There wasn't no Home Depot door delivery service back then. Upon closer look at the staircase, the chapel curator realized not a single nail was used in its construction, yet it somehow was held up perfectly secure, measuring 20 feet high and making 2 full turns without any support from a central pole. He brings in over 120 spiral staircase experts to investigate it further, and not one of them could explain how this set of stairs was built. They described it as being physically impossible to create. Even stranger still, the exact wood used to build the staircase was confirmed to be a type of spruce which is not native to New Mexico and is also scientifically not identified anywhere else in the world. This is the mystery of the Loretto Chapel and its miraculous staircase, which still remains unexplained today. The sisters of the chapel believe that Saint Joseph, who was a carpenter, came and built those stairs himself, which also happened to have exactly 33 steps, commonly regarded to be the age of Christ at the time of his crucifixion.
The most dangerous...
Whoa. That still gave me chills, man. They brought on, like he said, 133 experts and none of them can identify how it was built. And the tree is that type of tree is not located anywhere on Earth. Where the heck did that builder come from? That's the real question we need to be asking. Or could plane just be a miracle?
Dangerous Olympic sports is called luge. In a nutshell, 1 or 2 people who are called lugers will ride a sled down a hill as fast as they can. This hill is this narrow ice track. In 1986, a luge track was built on a ski hill in Alberta, Canada. This track and the surrounding ski area was called Canada Olympic Park. After the Olympics were over, this park was open to the public for recreational purposes. Nearly 30 years later, 3 teenage boys snuck into Canada Olympic Park after hours. They made their way up the hill until they reached this blue 6-foot-tall fence that was covered with warnings telling people to stay back. Inside was the starting house of the luge track. They looked at each other and chucked their plastic sleds over this blue fence and climbed up and over themselves. Once they were inside, they kind of arranged themselves. They put their helmets on. They strapped on headlamps so they could see the course because there were no lights on. They thought, let's just all get in one sled, and with the added weight, we should go faster. And after doing it a couple more times, they climbed back over that blue fence and snuck out of the park without getting caught. The following weekend, those 3 same boys, along with 5 of their friends, returned, and they determined they would put 3 boys in the first sled, 3 boys in the second sled, and 2 boys in the final sled. The group decided they did not need helmets. They also decided not to bring headlamps because it would be more exhilarating to go flying down this track in the darkness. The first 3 boys climbed into the first sled and pushed off. At first, it was going exactly to plan, but then disaster struck. There was a metal chain that had been strung across one of the sections towards the bottom of the luge track, and they strike this chain at full speed. When it hit them, it instantly decapitated and killed one of the boys. It was a 17-year-old named Evan Caldwell, and the other 2 are thrown from the sled and landed unconscious. Back up at the starting house, this second group of boys thinks they've waited long enough, and they push off. They hit the chain in such a way they kind of slipped under it. They were all thrown from their sled and kind of smashed into the track, but the worst injury was a broken ankle. And before they had a chance to yell up to the starting house, it was already too late. The third and final sled came bombing down. One of the 2 boys was a 17-year-old named Jordan Caldwell, and he too would be decapitated by the chain. He was actually the twin brother of Evan Caldwell, the boy on the first sled who had also died. The other boy on the third sled would be thrown from the sled and would suffer grievous injuries as well. When the paramedics ultimately arrived within the hour, they found all of these boys spread out all over the track. But they discovered the twins were actually laying right next to each other, and none of these surviving boys had moved their bodies. The 6 survivors of this accident would walk away from it with life-changing head injuries and other medical issues, and with an indescribable sense of guilt, but they consider themselves lucky because at least they survived.
This is one of the saddest stories I've ever heard. This is Maryanne Bevan. The world labeled her as the ugliest woman in the world. But no one ever stopped to ask who she really was. She was just a mother, fighting to survive. Mary was once a nurse in England. She was a beautiful woman. But everything changed after her husband, Thomas Bevan, died in 1914. Soon after, she began to show signs of a rare condition called acromegaly, a disorder that caused her face and body to grow and distort painfully. People were staring at her all the time. Even the doctors weren't able to help. She had no money, she had no help, and she had to feed 4 of her children. Mary entered a contest, the ugliest woman in the world contest, and she won. Not out of pride, out of necessity. After that, she joined a circus to make some money. She stood on stage and she was laughed at. She was mocked, but she held it in. She endured it, all of it, because all the money she made went to her children. Mary endured cruelty for her children's future. Maryanne Bevan was never ugly. She was brave, and her sacrifice was the most beautiful thing about her.
Nah, a lot of moms would do that, and especially in today's day.
This insane mother killed her 3 kids while singing to them. Rachel Henry was a 22-year-old living in Oklahoma. She lost her mom when she was 18, which had a huge impact on her mental health. She got into substance abuse and eventually she lost her job. She then moved to Arizona with her 3 kids and lived at her aunt's house. But she was still addicted and broke. Her addiction was so bad neighbors saw her walking around the street like a zombie. One night she was alone at the house playing with her 3 kids when all of a sudden she began suffocating her 2-year-old daughter with a pillow. Even her 3-year-old son was punching and kicking Rachel to try and get her to stop, but it was no use. Once her daughter stopped moving, she carried her to the bedroom and wrapped her in a blanket to make it look like she was sleeping. Now she started chasing her 3-year-old son around the house. Luckily, the aunt came home just as this was happening. You won't believe what Rachel told her aunt. Hit the plus for part 2.
I gotta find that for you guys, man.
As we all know, there's been a new wave of conflict in the Middle East, where multiple air bases were under attack, including the one in Qatar. The United Arab Emirates strongly condemns the attack, considering it a blatant violation of the sovereignty of the state of Qatar, united and guided by wisdom.
Biblical places that still exist. Jordan River, where Jesus was baptized.
Beautiful.
The rock that Moses struck and water came out. Jesus' tomb.
Didn't he try to read that? I heard like many stories about that.
River of Galilee that Jesus walked on. Red Sea that Moses split.
Could you see this? Could you guys imagine seeing this in person, man?
Synagogue that Jesus went to. Garden of Gethsemane where Jesus was arrested.
Full bloom, look like.
Place where Jesus healed the paralytic. Place where Jesus told Sermon on the Mount.
This is the most dangerous man on the entire earth. This guy right here is Mark Droy, and what he did will genuinely leave you speechless. There's a lot of crazy crime and really disturbing stuff going on in the world at the moment, and this guy apparently was thought to be part of similar rings as well. So this guy's Mark Droy and his wife Michelle Martin. In the 80s and 90s, he bought many houses in Belgium and would use each one as a separate dungeon, going out into the streets, getting people, bringing them back and doing things that I cannot speak about here, but full videos on my YouTube, go to the link in my bio. Underneath the home, he built a soundproof chamber so no one would hear a damn word, and went on to take many people, putting them under the ground and undergoing the most horrendous things ever. Eventually he was caught for doing R and other things to over 5 young people, and he went to jail and got released within 3 years, and going back to do more, but this time not leave anyone alive. No mother even called the police and said what he was doing. They didn't really do anything. Eventually going round while 2 people were in the basement, and they left. I can't talk about most of it on here, but go to my YouTube link to buy for the full thing.
Facts that will mess
Crazy
with your
story.
perception of time. Sharks are older than the rings of Saturn by hundreds of millions of years. If you were given $10,000 every single day since the pyramids were built, you would only have about 6% of Elon Musk's entire wealth. To give a clear picture of the difference between a million and a million seconds ago was a little over a week ago. A billion seconds ago was the year 1990. Jimmy Carter was the first president to be born in a hospital. Obama was the first president born under the same American flag he served as president under. Harriet Tubman was born in Thomas Jefferson's lifetime and died in Reagan's. There were Greek playwrights who wrote shows nearly 2,000 years before Shakespeare was even alive. Follow for more.
Well, Shakespeare was copy or something?
First, there's a lot about the type of person that you are. First of all, take a look at this photo right here. If you first of all notice 3 flying birds, that means you're a very adventurous person and are constantly looking for the next big thing. You're very motivated to following your hopes and dreams at any cost. If first of all you notice the face of a woman, this means you crave companionship and love being around people, and also potentially want to actually establish a relationship with someone pretty close to you right now. If you saw the trees first, that means you're a very relaxed and laid back person and you just go with the flow. Next up, take a look at this photo right here. If you saw the trees first, you trust your gut and always follow your own intuition. Not a very trusting person and will always go off what's best for yourself. However, if you saw the tiger first, you're a very open-minded person, but very, very strong-minded as well. Once you set your mind to something, no one's telling you otherwise. This photo right here. You saw the trees first, you could potentially be a little bit narrow-minded. You like being comfortable in one area, which isn't a bad thing, and are just comfortable in one position with your group of people. However, if you saw the skyscrapers, you like to think big, follow your dreams, and like to be completely outside of your comfort zone at all times.
Where'd you guys see Seekers on those pictures, man? I definitely saw the tiger, I saw the trees, and I saw the 3 birds lining up perfectly, so I guess I have some of those streets. You guys see anything else, man? Because I know everybody's not going to see the same thing. That's an edit. Call it how we see it, man.
Test your phobia. Thalassophobia.
I'm okay. Guess that's the fear of water, right? Deep, dark water. I don't think that affects me very much. I'm cool. Damn. I think you did that. Like I said, the fear of water, I don't.
Gruesome facts you didn't know, part 156. This photo, taken by a PetSmart employee in Arizona, shows a freezer overflowing with the bodies of dead animals due to understaffing. Another employee reported that cutting corners has led to hamsters eating their young after giving birth. As a last-ditch effort defense mechanism, the horned lizard can actually shoot blood from its eyes. After the Battle of Waterloo in 1815, looters, scavengers, and even surviving soldiers were taking teeth out of dead soldiers left on the battlefield. They would sort them into sets and then sell them to dentists who would boil them, cut off the roots, and shape them into dentures.
That's insane, bro. Using dead people's teeth as dentures.
Random facts about Australia because I just love y'all that much. The word selfie came from Australia. It was first used by Aussie man Nathan Hope when he posted a picture after he busted his ass while drinking. There's more kangaroos than people. Since kangaroos are the white-tailed deer of down under, it's common to eat kangaroo meat. I've actually had a kangaroo burger, and it was not bad. All are home to the most venomous snake, fish, octopus, spider, which I didn't even bother putting here, one of the few venomous mammals, and the most dangerous bird in the world. That doesn't compare to the most venomous thing of all. Because the most venomous things in the world, the box jellyfish and the irukandji, are from Australia. Somehow, with all the dangerous animals in Australia, the one responsible for the most names on Twitter bios, horses and cows. Y'all are so afraid of spiders and snakes, but a horse is more likely to kick your lights out. but it's not all bad. I do have the happiest animal in the world, the quokka. Fun fact, really happy fact actually, they're not endangered. They're vulnerable, so they're not 100% safe, but they're definitely not going extinct. Which is great because Rottnest gets about $4 million in tourism every year, and the quokka selfie is a big reason why. Australia also has the longest fence in the world at 3,488 miles. Supposed to keep rabbits out, but I guess they forgot rabbits can dig.
I've seen my fair share of cults, and this one
Crazy
is pretty
facts.
weird. This cult calls themselves the Cult of Mother God, and it's run by this woman here, Amy Carlson. She calls herself Mother God, creator of the universe, and she pretty much believed that she was being controlled by the spirit of Robin Williams himself, and not only him, but she could also channel information from other celebrities who weren't alive and even were alive, Donald Trump. But yeah, like Steve Irwin, Carrie Fisher, MJ. With everything in her, she believed that all this advice she was giving people was coming from Robin Williams himself. Her parents claimed she was a straight-A student, and sometime between 2000 and 2007, she meets a man named White Eagle as she was frequenting a website called lightworkers.org. She's pretty much convinced she's a divine being by this man, and she leaves her husband, her job, and kids, moves to Colorado with this cult. They'd start posting in 2009 and would call themselves the Galactic Foundation of the Light. Amy's health starts declining very badly to where she starts losing weight. She's down to 103 pounds. And this cult believes that Robin Williams is going to come down in a spaceship and pick her up. She can't weigh over 103, and she's going to ascend. Her health continues to decline, and Robin Williamson is nowhere to be found. He doesn't show up in his spaceship. So this group spends about 12 days with her body. I forgot to mention, but she was last seen alive on April 10th of 2021. But yeah, police would eventually break in and find Amy's body, her face covered in glitter, body in a sleeping bag, wrapped in Christmas lights. Kind of like a shrine, they called it.
Man, cults are dangerous, bro. Especially when you meet somebody, man, it just changes your freaking perception of reality.
Most terrifying urban legends from around the world. In 1978, a girl named Catherine went missing after she heard strange noises coming from the woods behind her backyard. Her sister said Catherine heard the voice of their mother calling to her, but something about this voice sounded distorted and wrong. That was one of the first sightings of Siren Head, a tall humanoid creature with unusually long limbs and two siren speakers attached to its head with human mouths inside. This allows the Siren Head to play the voices of its victims' families to lure them in. This creature is usually found in rural places and small towns, making it easier to blend into the environment and disguise itself between the trees or as a telephone pole. So remember, next time you hear the voice of a family member coming from an unusual place, don't go investigating. And follow for more stories.
Siren Head, man. That's the first time I'm hearing the lore about that, so I guess we're out at night, especially when she say you're in rural towns or something like that, areas you don't know. If you hear somebody call your name, family member, you never know. Something is trying to play a trick on your mind, man. Trying to lure you out there.
Psychology facts. 91% of people are no longer friends with someone they called their best friend. The person you think before you go to sleep is more likely to appear in your dreams. Unexpected texts from the person you care about can have a positive effect on your body and instantly improve your week.
Really? That makes sense.
These freak-offs, which involved groups of people performing sexual activities with each other, reportedly started in 2009. These parties were described as multi-day events involving heavy drug use, alcohol, and allegedly Diddy used force, threats, and coercion to make victims participate in these events. These substances that were used at these freak-offs were there to keep participants compliant, and basically it got people so intoxicated that they were sometimes taken advantage of. These freak-offs were held in rented hotel rooms and mansions in New York, LA, and Miami. But this is the thing, Diddy was so known and popular back in the early 2000s that everyone you can possibly think of was at his parties that he hosted. There's photos of A-list celebrities such as Kim Kardashian, Khloe Kardashian, and J-Lo, Leonardo DiCaprio, Jay-Z, Beyonce, Mariah Carey, Ashton Kutcher, Paris Hilton, and the list goes on. Now, were they all necessarily involved in these freak-offs? Not everyone, but it's been said that many of them were participating in these activities and some of them weren't but knew about it. And if they were involved in this back in the day, they don't want people to know now. And after all of this was released to the public, these celebrities have been really quiet and no one wants to speak on it at all.
Now if you want to hear
Man, man. Those Diddy Freak Offs, man. I know that list. Probably A-list celebrities. Freaking, not just celebrities, sports players too, NBA players, NFLs. Because like I said, it was popular back in the 2000s. So everybody was at those parties, man. So we don't know who was doing what, man. Maybe some of them were, some of them wasn't. So that's just freaking insane, bro. Those Diddy Freak Offs, man. When that whole lore or list gets revealed of who was doing what, some more people gonna be going down, man. I don't think it's just gonna be Diddy. What do you think?
Scary myth. This is one that actually turned out to be true. This was like way back in the day, but there was this infamous funhouse called Laugh in the Dark. Like any other kind of funhouse ride attraction that you would go through, it's supposed to scare you. And the whole thing about it was that it was filled with these creepy mannequins, but there was one mannequin that stuck out to everybody. All this time went by with kids who would go up to this mannequin and something seemed off about it because it was so oddly lifelike. Of course, strange mannequins aside, somebody was going to make a buck off this place. So there was a day when a film crew came in because they were going to shoot a movie. With all these mannequins and everything kind of lying around, they had to move things from one place to another. So the director said, can you pull that mannequin and put it to the side? Wait for the arm of the mannequin to snap off and reveal human bone. The entire time that kids and the public had been suspecting there was something off with that mannequin, they were right. It was a real human body being used in the funhouse.
This is the scariest story about Do Not Open. There was an 18-year-old girl named Mia who was in her first year of college. She lived alone in an apartment near her university. One night when she was doing the dishes, she got a call from her friend Pete. She picked it up and he said, I'm bored, I want to hang out. Mia said, yeah, me too, come over. Pete then said he'll be over in 15 to 20 minutes. She then hung up and decided to take a shower. Mia was in the middle of shampooing her hair when she suddenly heard a loud banging on the door. She stuck her head out of the shower and said, come in, it's open. But a few minutes later, the banging on the door started again. She then stuck her head out of the shower again and said, come in, it's not locked. Just then, her phone started to ring, and it was Peter. Mia said, I'm in the shower, why don't you stop knocking and just come in? Peter's voice sounded extremely scared, and he said, do not open the door. Mia said, why not? I'm outside your apartment building, whispered Peter. And I just saw a strange woman coming up the stairs to your apartment covered in blood and holding a knife. And she was smiling weirdly and didn't look human at all.
You never know, man, who's lurking. Had the right access to her apartment. His girlfriend, man, warning her, bro.
The same day this guy was released from jail, he went and killed and then decapitated his mother. His name is Alejandro Gonzalez, and this happened in Arizona. The police did arrest the 25-year-old after he killed and decapitated his mother right before her birthday. This happened on September 27th after somebody called 911. When the police got to the scene, they found her decapitated. Her name was Teresa de Jesus Cruz Rubio. She failed to show up to her surprise birthday party. Obviously, her family got really worried and they found her door locked, so they had to call a locksmith to come and open it. It was unfortunate that they opened it and saw a horrible scene. Police found blood and knives everywhere, with the shower and sink still running as if somebody was trying to clean the evidence. Her vehicle was also missing, but surveillance camera footage caught her son driving it. Police found Alejandro Gonzalez the next day on September 28th and took him into custody for questioning. He was covered in blood and had bruises all over his hand. He was also in possession of his mother's stolen vehicle. He even admitted to decapitating and killing her as well. He also claimed someone else was involved, but there's no evidence that points to that right now. Let me know your thoughts about this case in the comment section below, guys.
If you're a kid, make sure you shower.
Insane.
This, my friends, is the skunk ape. Click the plus, drop a like, tag a friend, or he might find you. It is said that the skunk ape gets its name of its absolute disgusting odor, and its attraction to other very smelly odors. On top of that, its appearance resembling a massive ape. It is also said to be roaming around certain parts of Florida, so if you live there, I would definitely be careful. My question to you guys is, do you still not want to shower?
They made a freaking lore, bro, to get people to shower? That's
This
insane.
is one of the most haunted places I've ever been to, and I won't go in here alone. It's an old abandoned nursing home outside of Waco, Texas. And if you're wondering why it was shut down, it was because an elderly woman was left here in the parking lot in a locked van on a hot day, and she died. Abuse and other crimes against the elderly run rampant at nursing homes, and this place was no stranger to it. I went there for my YouTube channel a couple of years ago, and the video footage that I captured inside is shocking. I found a doll hanging by a noose. I heard the sounds of people inside the building and talking, and it looks like there's someone still there. Would you explore this place with me? Let me know below.
Nah, I stay away from that type of energy. You got it, bro. I don't know how those people do
Creepy
it.
facts you didn't know about. If your immune system ever discovers that you have eyeballs, it's going to attack them until you go blind. At some point in time, a stranger has thought of killing you. If you're ever exposed to rabies and start to show symptoms, your survival chance is virtually 0%. You should never use bleach to clean up cat pee. The combination creates chlorine gas that is toxic. You are never 100% safe, no matter where you are or how you feel. If the sun exploded right now, you wouldn't know about it for another 8 minutes. There's a brain-eating amoeba that lives in lakes and rivers of the southern United States.
So because I'm back in like my Halloween thing right now, I was rewatching all of the Texas Chainsaw movies, and I was racking my brain because I'm like, I know this is somewhat based off of a true story. Thinking to myself, I know the movies have been sensationalized, but there's definitely a name behind this. So I did some research. Completely forgot about Ed Gein. This guy was the original inspiration behind Leatherface because of the things he did, and specifically the things he made. There's something like 17 years he was exhuming bodies. He was also making people disappear, you know what I mean? Creating these morbid and grotesque items, leather items, out of their skin. It's kind of eerie to think that his neighbors, people locally, they just didn't know who he was. He was just the isolated man who lived in an old house and stayed to himself. But if you do want more information on this, we're probably going to cover it in a Creep Time podcast.
You never know what somebody's capable of, man. Like I said, he was the guy who stayed to himself. And look what he was capable of, man.
Thanks to Warner Brothers for sponsoring this video. This October, the greatest villain of all time returns to theaters in Joker Folie à Deux. Joker Folie à Deux is a direct sequel to Joker, which is one of the greatest comic book movies of all time. But what made Joker different from the rest is that Joaquin Phoenix didn't just play the Joker, he became the Joker. Phoenix lost over 52 pounds for the role. He isolated himself during the preparation process, and even improvised intense scenes like smashing the clock and his haunting dance scene in the bathroom. Phoenix went through an intense physical and psychological transformation to become the Joker, and it paid off, becoming the first R-rated movie to cross $1 billion at the box office. And luckily, the iconic character is returning to the big screen for Joker Folie à Deux, with Phoenix reprising his role as Arthur Fleck, and Lady Gaga taking on the role of Harley Quinn. This sequel dives even deeper into the mind of Joker and explores more of the dark, grounded Gotham universe that we want to see. And you can grab tickets now for Joker Folie à Deux, which hits theaters October 4th.
The goofiest serial...
Also, I had to stop there. Anybody guys see Joker Folie à Deux, man, we know that I heard it wasn't it, man, that people did not like it, and the ending was that let's just say it was bad. That's what I heard. I don't know. Tell me down below if you guys actually seen it. I would have checked that out.
Serial killer nicknames. This is Cayetano Santos Godinho, the teenage Argentinian serial killer. By the age of 16, he committed 4 murders, 5 arsons, 11 assaults, 1 attempted kidnapping, and the murder of 3 animals. He was also once jailed for chronic self-pleasuring, which was illegal at the time. This monster from Argentina was appropriately nicknamed the Big-Eared Midget.
The Big-Eared Midget? What the type of name is that?
These animals were recently discovered, and the last one is unbelievable. This first one is a wolf monk, and they're highly aggressive, and they eat everything. This is a crowilla. These are super intelligent creatures who swoop down and steal your food, but they write a thank you card after. This is a louse, and these creatures are found all over the world. They wait for you to go to sleep, and they hide under your bed, then they come out and bite your toe. This is a raniwi. These are super fast creatures with the temper of a honey badger. This is a catfin, and these are some of the most dangerous new creatures ever found. They swim through the water fast like torpedoes, but they are known to knock everything off boats. The candy is a much safer option though, although they're kind of messy on both ends, kind of like leaving little landmines everywhere. This is a dogster, and they're one of the safest to be around. And even though that boy thick, they don't eat that much food. The monkola is highly vicious though. They sleep most of the day, but if you wake them up, they throw buckets of poo at you. This is a squinky, and they're to be avoided at all costs. If they see you walking with food, they come and steal your food and then wait. And if you're still there, they eat you next. The chisel is the next white meat. They're said to taste like chicken. And the pingo is a new favorite pet by some people. They are so friendly to the point that they annoy you to where you want to punch them.
Whatever you do, do not feel bad for this woman. This woman's name is Love lovely Kristen Antoinette Johnson, and she had a 6-month-old baby. But one more thing is, she was a severe drug addict, and she would often invite friends over to her house or go to her friends' houses to do drugs. And when she would do this, she would just lock her son up in a car seat and leave him inside the house. And she would place him in the attic where she wouldn't be able to hear him. Well, on this particular occasion, the little baby went 4 days without any food and starved to death. Apparently, the baby had diaper rash so severe his skin was literally falling off. When she found the baby, his body was already decomposing, and she still took him to the ER and got arrested there. And she was sentenced to 20 to 80 years in prison for the murder of her baby.
Thanks, man. You take certain substances, bro, it turns you into a different person, man. It's tragic story, seekers. If you guys made it with me to the end, you're a truth seeker seeking the truth. I really appreciate the support, man. Like I said, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, comment down below, hit that thumbs up button. You guys are gonna catch you in the next one, man. I'm out. Peace, YouTube.